Hi there everybody, welcome to another video. In today's video I have my CLK convertible here. This is a 2002 W208. I'm gonna be removing this seat here, and the reason I'm removing it is because the seat is not going up. It goes down and it's gone down all the way and it's not coming back up. Now I've had the same issue on the other seat over there some years ago, and the solution was basically remove the seat and remove the little motors that operate this and sort of lubricate them, and then they started working, literally all of them. I had 3 failures on that seat, the driver's seat there, and this side is now decided to fail, so I'm gonna give it a go. Now removing the seat isn't really a hard job. I'm gonna be using one of these with a ratchet with an E12. So this E12 here is basically something that looks like that. What do they call them? Like a reverse Torx. So I'm just gonna start at the back here, and this is where we are. So we have one of the bolts right there. They can be a little bit hard, although I had this seat out before, and I guess I must have tightened it quite tight. So anyway, go ahead and remove that and remove the other one there as well, and then we'll do the front. While the seat is out, I'm also gonna try and clean it because it's a little bit dirty. I've been trying to clean this carpet, but it's been really hard to get that sort of stain there that you can see, the yellowish stain. I don't even know what it is and why it's like that. Right, so anyway, so I'm just gonna pull the seat back here, and that is going to reveal the other 2 bolts that we want to take out. So I'm just going to put it all the way back, and there's one bolt and there's the other bolt. Okay, with those 2 bolts out, you may see that the seat is now free to come out, and but we want to obviously unplug a few things first. If you remove it completely, then you want to unplug all this here, but some of these will have the airbag connected to it, well, as in not the airbag, but obviously, well, the seat occupancy sensor, which sort of senses when you're sitting in the car. I'm not 100% sure this car has that actually, but it'll be a good idea to just be aware of that, because you may need an OBD computer in order to reset the airbag. And the issue with that is that this car has very few computers that will connect to it properly, so that is a pain in the ass. And also I would recommend disconnecting the battery if you're going to disconnect any of these things. So beforehand, disconnect the battery, and then you can at least leave it for an hour or so for the system to discharge, and then you are able to remove all this wiring safely. So I'm gonna go ahead and start unplugging these things so I can remove the seat. The battery, obviously, if you don't know, it's in the back, it's in the boot, and there are a few things that you will need to reset when you, hang on a minute, I may not have to remove all this wiring. I just need to remove the one that's connected to this box. This is more it looks like these are connected to that. But these ones here are the ones that are coming out of the floor, like this one here. So we can take these ones out. So all of these, they just have little clips or so around. So I'll go ahead and disconnect them. I'm gonna take these other two out. Oh yeah, one more. And this one doesn't really have a little clip. This is more of a pulling one, but you don't want to pull it from the cables. Maybe grab it with a pair of pliers and sort of take it out from there. It usually has a tiny little clip on the side that holds it in place. So I'll go ahead and do that. And also you can see the motors for the car down there. Those are the motors there. Once you disconnect it, there's no rocket science to this. Just take the seat out. Obviously I can't really, they are quite heavy, so I'm just gonna take it out and I'll show you the motors. So these are the motors. One is for going back and forth, obviously, and the other one is for the seat to go up and down. Now all what we need to do is take them out. Usually you can you could tap them and then they start working, but that would be like a quick type of solution. But maybe you want to remove them and lubricate them a little bit. So that screw there, it's is that a Phillips? Or maybe a little Torx screw, and it's kind of starting to rain, so I'm just gonna go in, take the seat in the garage. Right, actually I reconnected the battery on my car because I'm gonna have to drive home, but there was no airbags or nothing come on. No SRS. So maybe this model, this is a 2002 after all, doesn't have the actual seat occupancy sensor. So it might be on the newer models. This one does have heated seats, so there is a wire that goes inside of the padding for the heating. It just might be that it wasn't as I thought. And now I'm just taking these screws out with a T20 Torx. So it wasn't the Phillips, because a lot of these older models still use have the Phillips screws, but clearly they started using these Torx screws back then. Again, 2002. This car is quite 22 years old now or so. Right, so this motor here, the one I'm removing, it's operating the up and down. So that is connected to this bar here that does the up and down, and it's got two wires connected to it. A fairly simple motor, which is operated by this cable here, this section here. The other one, which has got this gray cover, that gray cover there, goes to this motor that operates the back and forth, but that has got more wires because this is also connected to the seat. When you lift this, when you put the back of the seat forwards, you can also lift the little handlebar, and the seat will go forwards or backwards. So that's why it's a little bit more wires connected to it. So this little thing here, you can operate the seat. So at least that way we know which motor we are dealing with. So now this motor was, as I said, operating only in one direction, and I can see the motor. I can actually move it with my fingers here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of power here and see what this does. If it works both ways, all we have to do is reverse the polarity, obviously. And then if that works, then we may have a slightly different problem, either with the switch or with this here, as in this box. But I would suspect the switch a little bit more, because my switch sometimes, for example, if you put the switch forwards for the seat to go forwards, it goes backwards, and vice versa. So maybe my switch has got a bit of water in it or something. But let's give this a go, and let's lubricate this as well. Okay, I've disconnected the blue connection here, and I've connected just a couple of wires, random wires that I have, a red and a white, to my power pack. You can use an old battery or something similar, and just connected the red wire there and the other one there, so we can switch this on and see what happens to our motor. And that is working just fine. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the connection. So I'll just put the red one on this terminal and the white one on this one, and basically all I want to do is check if my motor goes the other way around. So I'll just get those properly on. So that's on the reverse way, and now we can switch this on, and the motor is working just fine, as you can see. So I don't know which way is going up or which way is going down, but we'll find out. And this motor is actually okay. It's turning quite well. It's not even stuck. I can actually turn it with my fingers. Whereas the ones on the driver's side, I couldn't turn these. They were quite stuck. But before I fit that back in there, maybe I'll spray a bit of that. It's a bit difficult to get anything in there really, as such. So maybe just a little bit in there. Yeah, that actually did help a bit. So at this moment in time, I will be suspecting my switch. Right, okay, let's get these screws back on here. And well, actually, we can also check if there is any resistance for the motor to actually go up or down. So I'm just gonna get that in there. So I got one screw in there. I'm gonna test this, see if it goes which way is supposed to be going right now. Okay, so I got it the way I wanted, where the seat would be going up basically, and you can see it's going up without any dramas. So there's no resistance there. which then leads me to believe we may have a situation here or with the switch on the door. Which will be a bit difficult to test because I don't have another switch. Well, I can actually test. I suppose I could, if you press the switch down, well, the seat actually does go down, it doesn't go up. So if you were to connect your seat back, and the power, when you click the switch on the door up, power is supposed to come to this motor on the reversed way. Basically, when you put it down, you're going to have 12 volts. When you put it up, you're also going to have 12 volts, just reversed. That's how simple this motor is. So we could test for juice in here when we operate the switch. But having said that, there is juice going there when we operate the switch because the seat goes down. So I'm just having all these realizations as I speak because I'm thinking about it, which really says it's the switch that is become faulty. So I might need to clean it or may need to get another one. I think that is where our problem may lie. And obviously between the seat, between the switch on the door and this, there will be a lot of wiring, but because the seat does work down, it goes down, I wouldn't think is there any issue with the wiring or the fuses, because these usually operate. I think there are some fuses for the seats, but it's one fuse for the operation, for both operations. So it's not two fuses for up and down, basically. So we'll see how it goes. So I've got a second-hand switch here to replace this one, which is obviously, I believe that this is the reason my seat is not going up. It's going down, but it doesn't go up. And as I mentioned, maybe if you push the seat back, it actually goes forwards, and if you go forwards, it goes back. So there might be something wrong with this switch. The other only thing I can think of might be wrong is the module that controls the function, where this goes, basically where this is connected to, but I don't think so. So anyway, I've got a second-hand one here. Now, in order to remove this little thing, the best way to do it is really to remove the panel here, because it's quite hard to get this out, although mine looks like it's a little bit out, and that's because I had an issue with where the windows wouldn't shut a few years ago. So I needed to close the window and disconnect a switch inside in order to keep it closed. Well, complicated anyway. And I hadn't pushed this back in all the way because I used to remove it, but I did push it in. Once I sorted the issue, I pushed it in a bit, and now it's a bit secured, and I don't really want to force it out. As you may be able to notice here, I may have done so before and obviously damaged the side here a little bit, which is not great. So the best thing to do is to remove the panel, and to remove this panel we need to pull like this cover out. I've already pulled it out a little bit, but that's how it comes out, because we have a screw in here. And then we also need to take this little cover here for the SRS. There will be a screw in there, as far as I remember. We also need to remove this little bit here and that. So I'm just gonna get the tools for taking those out. This is a tiny little Phillips screws that we need to take out. And this is a Torx, possibly a T25. And the Torx in there is gonna be slightly bigger, maybe a T30 or so. same as that. Right, so I removed the little screw from there, and this little thing should just come out. It's not really particularly held in any specific way. Also, I removed the 3 Phillips from here, so this little cover should also come out. It might be stuck to this rubber, so it may want to come out with the whole rubber here, but you can just pull it, unstuck it from the rubber basically. And I've also removed the Torx that are in there, so one there and one where the SRS sign is. And now with some plastic prying tools, something like this, you can go in from the side. I've already done a little bit of it, and then you can pry this open. My door may come out a little bit easier because I already had it off some time ago, because I changed the speakers, and we may want to pull this bit out as well. As far as I remember, this sort of pops out. I'm gonna try with some, I don't remember very well, but I don't want to break it. So we may just, some of these slide and then sort of pop out, but that's usually the case with these things. Either trying to remember how they come out. Yes, so it pops out from the top. You can see the clip there. It's clipped into there, and the other bit here, it's held in there. So now we know. Right. I think there is maybe one more screw here. Okay, so technically we should be able to get this panel out. Don't think there's any more screws here, but we do need to sort of push this door panel up, sort of like this. Could always open the, okay, there we are. So panel is out here, disconnected. If you're doing this with 2 hands, you don't necessarily need to remove the whole panel unless you wanted to, but if you want to remove the whole panel, you can. You'll have to disconnect some of the cables here, obviously. Now this cable here is the one connected to the switch that I want to take out. So, well, I may disconnect this just to have a better view. And if you are taking this panel out, then this is pretty much how we need to do it here. And then this comes out like that. If you have the light down there, also needs to be disconnected. And then we have this switch here. That does need to come out. So this is the little module that I was talking about that often goes faulty. Well, it doesn't often go faulty. It just it could be faulty in this case. And I'm just trying to see how it comes out. It's got a tiny little clip in there. Okay. Right, so one door panel out. So with the panel out, now you'll be able to see there are some clips here that hold this switch in here, and it's pretty much impossible to take it out from inside. So well, it is possible, but you will often break the clips, these little clips here, which we want to press, and this thing should technically come out. Okay, there we are. So that is out, and now we need to remove this one as well. So I can see it's just, again, the actual switch is just clipped onto the onto that cover. So just have to sort of press, sort of open those little clips. It shouldn't be a difficult, so I'm just gonna do that because I need my 2 hands for that. Okay, let's have a look. This pulls out literally. It's not really held in as such, but just that tiny little clip there. And then you can get this off like so. So that's technically that is the dodgy one. And this is technically the one I got off eBay, and I mean, it could just well be dodgy as well, but hopefully it's not. So that's clipped on, and we can then push this back in here. Like so. That's nicely clipped in now, and I can pull that wire, push that wire in there, and that's it. So now refitting this is the reversal of removal. You may find that some of your clips, these clips may break. You can see that one is broken, or that one's come off. It's not even there, but considering the age of this car, the reason I opened this is because I changed the speakers as well. I put 2 new speakers. Right, so refitting, reversal of removal. I'm going to fit that panel back on. Then of course I have to get my seat back in here to see if the theory works or not. Right, it's time for me to fit my seat back and see if the changing of the switch has actually worked. Now it's taking me a while to finish this video, but that's because I was actually I was doing some work on the seat itself, where I was I've sort of did a little bit of refurbishment. So my seat may have looked a little bit like this one before, which is one that I'm gonna try and do the same work, because now it looks very nice and new. Anyway, this video is to do with the electric part of the seat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reconnect all the cables here that we disconnected and refit, obviously put the seat back, and then we can test whether it works or it doesn't. Okay, I've connected all my cables, everything is in place now, and actually just before I put the bolts on, I'm gonna test that the seat goes up and down, and hopefully our new switch works. So that's going down. My previous seat was also going down, but it wasn't going up, and now it is going up. So happy days, it is working. So in the end I did have this faulty switch, but you can pick this from the internet fairly cheap. And another thing I wanted to mention, it's I have been using the car without this seat here for quite some time. I mean, I started this job back in October last year or something, and now we are in January 2025. But I just finished the refurbishment of this seat, and so it's just now that I can fit it back. So I've been using the car, and the SRS light comes on the dash on and off. So sometimes it's off and sometimes it's on. Just something to be aware of, because whether you want to leave, if you're going to do something similar, if you need to fix your car, you could do it in a day, I suppose. Just change that switch. If you were doing something else like I was and you need to leave it off, then you will have that SRS light coming on. But now I plug the seat back in, that light shouldn't come on, and if it does, then you're gonna have to clear the fault codes, and for that you do need a fairly special computer for this particular car, so just be aware of that, those things. So the job, the original job has been successful, and I'm glad I can now finish this video. So having said that, I hope the video helps you guys. If anybody's having issues with the electric seat here, actually hopefully the forward and the back is also working, something to check. If you have any questions, do let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you guys on the next video, which I'm also gonna make a video on this car, how I did the refurbishment of this seat. I'm gonna try to do a video on that seat, but bear in mind, I'm not this is the first time ever I've done a seat, so I'm not an expert. I follow the instructions on the pack and it's come out really nice, so I'm happy with the results, and hopefully I'll show you guys how I did this side on the other side, because the other side is also looking dramatically not very nice. So anyway, again, with that said, hope you guys enjoy the video, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.